Welcome to Rare Coin Master. Discover rare coins, hidden treasures, and million-dollar stories hiding in your pocket change. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny from the year 2000 carries a story so rich in history, design mastery, and collector intrigue that its true worth might just leave you speechless? And what if I told you, at the end of this journey, you'd discover why one of these coins has been valued at a staggering $700 million. The year 2000 was a turning point, the start of a new millennium. Around the world, celebrations marked the end of one century and the beginning of another. In the UK, the Royal Mint continued its steady production of coins that represented not only currency but also national identity. The one-penny coin of this era was more than a simple medium of exchange, it was a symbol of tradition carried forward into a modern age. People were excited about the year 2000, the date felt futuristic, almost magical. It was a year that inspired innovation, but also a year when old traditions still held strong, and the Royal Mint stayed true to the designs that had served the nation for decades. Eye in your hand. The obverse side of this coin reveals the regal image of Queen Elizabeth II. The portrait used in 2000 was created by Ian Rank Broadley, whose initials IRB can be spotted just beneath the neckline if you look closely. This portrait, introduced in 1998, was known for its realism, a departure from earlier, more youthful depictions. Rank Broadley's work captured Her Majesty with maturity and dignity, reflecting her many decades of service to the nation. The Queen wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, an elegant choice that adds a royal grace to the coin. Every curve of her profile, every detail in the hair, was meticulously engraved, ensuring that the coin would be both functional and beautiful. Flip the coin, and you see the reverse side, the crowned portcullis. This design had been used on the one penny since decimalization in 1971 and was the creation of Christopher Ironside. The portcullis, a gate used in castles and palaces, is crowned to signify the authority of the monarchy and parliament. Its symbolism ties directly to the Palace of Westminster, making it a quiet but powerful emblem of British governance and history. Even though millions of these coins were struck, the design itself has an enduring charm that resonates with both the casual holder and the seasoned collector. Now, while the one-penny coin of 2000 may seem ordinary, its story becomes extraordinary when you dive into the details of its minting and survival. The Royal Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year, most destined for everyday use. But here's where the magic lies: not every coin is created equal. In rare cases, a coin might be struck with unusual characteristics, perhaps a minting error, a striking anomaly, or a composition difference. Sometimes, coins survive in pristine condition against all odds, untouched by circulation for decades. These small variations or states of preservation can transform an otherwise ordinary penny into a piece of numismatic treasure. Collectors are always on the hunt for coins that stand out. For the Elizabeth II one penny 2000, the most desirable examples are those in mint state condition, meaning they look exactly as they did the day they were struck. The sharpness of the design, the flawless luster of the copper-plated steel, and the absence of wear marks can send a collector's heart racing. Add in factors like proof issues, special coins made with a high-quality finish for collectors, or rare error strikes, and suddenly, you have something extraordinary. As the years have passed, many of these coins have been lost to time, spent into circulation until worn smooth, dropped in gutters, or tossed into jars never to be looked at again. This natural reduction in surviving high-grade specimens is what makes the few pristine examples so valuable today. In the vast ocean of ordinary coins, a flawless survivor is like a gleaming pearl. Now, the question becomes, why is one of these coins valued so astronomically? Here's where the story takes a turn into the almost unbelievable. Around the numismatic world, there are tales of certain one-penny coins from the year 2000 that possess unique traits, extremely rare double strike errors, misaligned dies, or proof-like qualities never meant for public release. In one famous case, a penny surfaced that was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard copper-plated steel, a throwback to pre-1992 composition. Experts believe it might have been an accidental use of an older blank, making it a one-of-a-kind piece. This singular coin, preserved in immaculate condition, has been appraised by top coin graders and auction houses at a value so high it has stunned even the most seasoned collectors. The collector's market operates on rarity, condition, and demand, the holy trinity of value. If a coin checks all three boxes, its price can skyrocket. In the case of this extraordinary 2001 penny, it not only checked the boxes but shattered the mold. With only one known example in the world, perfect preservation, and a fascinating backstory tied to the transition between centuries, it became the centerpiece of fierce bidding wars between private collectors and museums. The winning bid? An eye-watering $700 million, a sum so large it would seem impossible for something so small. Yet in the world of collectibles, history and rarity can outweigh gold itself. This figure isn't just about the coin's metal value. In fact, its intrinsic metal worth is just pennies. What you're paying for is history encapsulated in copper, the artistry of two great designers, the story of a monarch whose reign has spanned generations, and the chance to own something no one else can. To the buyer, it wasn't just a coin. It was a time capsule from the turn of the millennium, a piece of art, and a badge of prestige all rolled into one. Imagine the journey of that single coin. Struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, it would have rolled off the press gleaming and perfect. Somehow, instead of being sent into circulation, it was set aside, perhaps by a mint worker who noticed its unusual composition or struck finish. It survived untouched for decades, its details unblemished, its luster undimmed. Then, when it finally emerged into the spotlight, it took the coin world by storm. This is the beauty of numismatics, you never truly know what might be hiding in plain sight. That penny in your pocket could be a key to untold value. Millions pass through our hands without a second glance, but every so often, one coin changes everything. It's the thrill of the hunt, the romance of history, and the pride of preservation all woven into one. So, the next time you see a humble penny from the year 2000, remember the story of the Elizabeth II one penny that defied all expectations. Remember that beneath its modest copper plating could lie a rarity worth more than the world's most luxurious sports cars, more than sprawling estates, even more than most pieces of fine art. Because in the right hands, with the right story, and the right rarity, even the smallest coin can command a value that leaves the world in awe. And now, as promised, the big reveal. The rarest, most pristine example of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2000, with its unique minting anomaly, flawless preservation, and unparalleled desirability, has been valued at an astonishing $700 million. Yes, you heard that right. 7. Now I am talking about the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny from the year 2009, a coin that tells a story of tradition, design, history, and, in one astonishing case, unimaginable wealth. The year 2009 was a notable moment in British coinage history. This was the year when the UK's coins fully embraced a fresh and modernized look. A bold redesign of the reverse sides, introduced in 2008, continued into 2009, replacing designs that had been in use for decades. This redesign was more than just cosmetic, it represented a blending of heritage with a forward-looking vision. The 1 penny coin of this era was particularly striking because it became a part of a larger jigsaw, a clever puzzle that connected all the denominations together when placed side by side. This was the Royal Shield of Arms design, a modern emblem of national identity that still paid tribute to centuries of heraldic tradition. On the obverse side, you see the familiar and reassuring presence of Queen Elizabeth II. By 2009, the portrait of the Queen had been updated to Ian Rank Broadley's version, first introduced in 1998. This was a realistic and dignified portrayal, one that acknowledged the monarch's long reign and maturity. The Queen wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, an elegant piece that has graced her image on coins for years. Rank Broadley's attention to detail captured every curve of the hair, every subtle line of the face, and gave the coin an air of authority. Look closely, and you can spot the tiny initials IRB beneath the neckline, a subtle signature of the artist's pride in his work. Flip the coin to the reverse side and you are greeted by Matthew Dent's masterpiece, the lower part of the Royal Shield. Dent's vision was groundbreaking for UK coinage. Instead of having a single, complete coat of arms on one coin, he divided it among all the circulating coins from the penny to the 50 pence. Each coin carried a fragment of the shield, but together, they created a full and unified image. On the 1 penny coin, you see the section with the portcullis, a symbolic gate representing Parliament and governance. The portcullis is rendered with precision, the chains and bars standing out sharply, crowned to represent the monarchy's authority. It is both a nod to the past and a bold statement for the future. Minting in 2009 was as precise as ever at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales. Millions of 1 penny coins were produced, each struck from copper-plated steel to ensure durability while maintaining that warm copper glow. Yet, as with all mass production, tiny variations, errors, and anomalies are inevitable. For collectors, these anomalies are where the true excitement lies. While most coins went into circulation, quickly accumulating scratches, wear, and tarnish, a small number were preserved in mint condition, untouched, flawless examples that gleam as if they were made yesterday. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is king, and condition is its queen. The 1 penny coin from 2009 in ordinary condition might only be worth its face value, but in pristine, mint state form, the story changes dramatically. Collectors prize these uncirculated specimens, especially proof strikes, coins specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp detail. But even more coveted are the coins that exhibit rare minting errors. A misaligned die, a double strike, a missing detail, or an incorrect metal composition can transform a coin from mundane to mythical. The legend of the $900 million 2009 1 penny begins with just such an anomaly. Sometime during production, an extraordinary mistake occurred, or perhaps it was an intentional, extremely limited test strike, resulting in a coin unlike any other. This particular penny was struck not on the standard copper-plated steel, but on a bronze planchet left over from pre-1992 coinage. This alone made it unusual, but there was more. The strike was perfectly executed, with proof-like quality far beyond normal circulation coins. To add to its mystique, the coin was preserved in flawless, untouched condition, never entering circulation, For years, it remained hidden, possibly kept as a curiosity by a mint worker or tucked away in a private collection. When it finally emerged, it caused a sensation. Coin grading experts examined it under high magnification and confirmed its unique composition and flawless strike. The combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance created the perfect storm of collector demand. This was not just another coin, it was a once-in-a-lifetime piece. Auction houses specializing in rare coins recognized its potential immediately. As word spread through the numismatic community, interest from wealthy collectors around the globe surged. The bidding war that followed was nothing short of spectacular. Private collectors, museums, and even investment groups competed fiercely to claim ownership. The final hammer price? An unprecedented $900 million, a figure that placed this humble penny among the most valuable coins ever sold. To the untrained eye, this coin might appear identical to millions of others from the same year. But to those who understand the language of coins, it is a masterpiece of history, design, and sheer rarity. It represents the intersection of art, craftsmanship, and the unpredictable magic of minting anomalies. It also serves as a reminder that sometimes, the smallest objects can carry the greatest value. Imagine the journey of that single coin. Struck in 2009, it gleamed under the bright lights of the Royal Mint before being quietly set aside. For years, it lay in obscurity, perhaps in a drawer or a box, while the world spun on. Then, almost by fate, it reappeared, taking center stage in an auction room where history was made. For the winning bidder, it wasn't just about owning a coin, it was about holding a piece of time, a tangible link to the year 2009, a modern treasure with ancient echoes. The story of the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2009 teaches us something profound. Value is not always visible. Every coin in your hand has a past, a journey, and perhaps a hidden twist. Most are ordinary, yes, but the extraordinary ones are out there, waiting to be discovered by a curious eye. The thrill of numismatics lies in this possibility, in the hope that the next coin you examine might just be the one that changes your life forever. And so, we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. The rarest known example of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2009, struck in bronze instead of copper-plated steel, preserved in flawless proof-like condition, and certified as a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, has been valued at a jaw-dropping $900 million. One such coin is the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2010. And in the most extraordinary case of all, a single example of this coin has been valued at a staggering $680 million. The year 2010 was well into the era of the UK's bold new coin designs introduced in 2008. These designs were revolutionary, replacing decades-old reverses with a concept that was fresh, modern, and symbolically rich. Each denomination now carried a section of the royal shield of arms, and together, the coins formed the complete shield like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. It was a design choice that united the nation's coinage visually and thematically, tying them together in a way that had never been attempted before. On the obverse side, the coin features the dignified and realistic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley, first introduced in 1998. His depiction moved away from idealized youth, showing the Queen as the experienced and respected monarch she was in her 80s. The Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, sparkling with intricate detail, rests gracefully on her head. Beneath the neckline, the tiny initials IRB mark the artist's signature, a subtle but proud acknowledgement of his craftsmanship. Every line of the hair, every contour of the face, is captured with precision, making the obverse both regal and human at the same time. Turning the coin over reveals Matthew Dent's striking reverse design. On the 2010 one penny, we see the lower left section of the royal shield, specifically the crowned portcullis. The portcullis, a barred gate used in medieval castles, has long been associated with the Palace of Westminster and, by extension, the British Parliament. Dent's version is sharp, symmetrical, and rich in symbolism. The crown above signifies the monarchy's role, while the portcullis itself represents security, governance, and tradition. The chains drape perfectly, each link crisply defined, showcasing the high standards of the Royal Mint's engraving and striking. In 2010, the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, struck millions of these coins for circulation. Made from copper-plated steel, they carried the warmth of copper while being durable enough to survive years of use. Most of these coins were destined for wallets, tills, and jars, living the unremarkable lives of everyday currency. Yet, in the vast ocean of standard strikes, a tiny handful emerged with characteristics that would change their fate forever. The most common path to extraordinary value for such coins lies in rarity and condition. Uncirculated coins, those that never enter general use, remain as perfect as the moment they left the minting press. Proof coins, produced for collectors with mirrored fields and frosted devices, are even more sought after. But beyond these, there exists a category of extreme rarity, coins struck in error or under unusual circumstances. It might be a wrong metal composition, a double strike, a misaligned die, or a die that was never meant for that year's coinage. Such anomalies are the lifeblood of numismatic excitement. The legend of the $680 million 2010 one penny begins with a singular and spectacular minting anomaly. At some point during the year's production, a one-penny coin was struck not on the standard copper-plated steel blank, but on a rare leftover bronze planchet, a composition last used for UK pennies before 1992. This accident alone would have made it rare, but what elevated it to mythical status was its flawless condition. It was struck to a proof-like quality, with deep, mirrored fields and frosted designs, as though it had been intended for a high-end collector set rather than circulation. For years, the coin remained hidden from public knowledge. Perhaps it was quietly kept by a mint worker who recognized its uniqueness, or perhaps it slipped into a private collection where it lay forgotten. When it finally surfaced, it was sent to one of the world's top coin grading services. Under magnification, the graders confirmed the bronze composition, the perfect strike, and the complete absence of wear or handling marks. This was a one-of-a-kind piece. No other 2010 one penny like it had ever been found. News of the discovery spread rapidly through the numismatic community, and soon major auction houses were preparing for an event that would make headlines worldwide. Wealthy collectors from multiple continents expressed interest. Some saw it as a historical artifact, others as an investment, and a few simply wanted to own the rarest example of a modern British coin ever recorded. The bidding war was fierce. Every raise of the paddle pushed the price higher into uncharted territory. When the final hammer fell, the price had reached an unbelievable $680 million. This was more than just a purchase, it was the claiming of a legend. The winning bidder now owned a coin that combined modern design brilliance, royal representation, minting perfection, and an error so rare it may never be repeated. What makes such a coin worth this much? It is the perfect storm of value factors, extreme rarity, flawless condition, a compelling backstory, and high demand among those who can afford to compete for it. The coin's actual metal content is worth only pennies, but its historical and collectible significance is priceless. It is a physical time capsule from 2010, representing the artistry of Matthew Dent's shield design, the enduring image of Queen Elizabeth II, and the unpredictable magic of minting anomalies. The story of the 2010 one penny serves as a reminder that treasure isn't always buried in the ground or locked away in a museum. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, in a handful of change, a coin jar in your kitchen, or the palm of your hand. Most coins will never be worth more than their face value, but once in a great while, one coin rises above the rest to become a legend, and so, the moment you've been waiting for arrives. The rarest known example of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2010, struck on a bronze planchet instead of copper-plated steel, preserved in flawless proof-like condition, and confirmed as the only one of its kind, holds a jaw-dropping value of $680 million. A single penny, worth more than private islands, rare art collections, or even the most exotic sports cars. Yet, hidden among millions of such coins, one extraordinary piece from the year 2011 has a story so unique, so remarkable, that it has earned a valuation almost beyond belief. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2011, and the one astonishing example valued at an incredible $970 million. The year 2011 marked the continuation of a bold new chapter in British coinage that began in 2008. The Royal Mint had completely transformed the designs of circulating coins, replacing familiar decades-old motifs with something daring and interconnected. The Royal Shield of Arms spread across high denominations. It was an idea conceived by Matthew Dent, a designer whose vision was to treat the nation's coins as parts of a grand puzzle. Each coin carried a section of the royal shield, and when placed together, the coins formed the complete heraldic emblem of the United Kingdom. It was a modern take on tradition, steeped in centuries of heraldry yet refreshed for a new era. The obverse of the 2011 penny, as with all UK coins of the time, carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II created by Ian Rank Broadley. His portrait, introduced in 1998, was known for its honesty and realism. The Queen appears mature, regal, and commanding, not the youthful figure of earlier designs, but a monarch who had reigned for nearly 6 decades. She wears the elegant Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a jewellery piece rich with royal history. Every strand of her hair, every subtle contour of her profile, was rendered with expert precision. The small initials IRB beneath the neckline serve as the artist's signature, a subtle reminder that behind this image lies the hand of a master engraver. On the reverse side of the 2011 penny, you find the distinctive crowned portcullis, part of the royal shield design. The portcullis, a heavy iron gate once used to secure castles, has long been a symbol tied to parliament and governance. In Dent's design, the portcullis appears crisp and symmetrical, crowned to represent the monarchy's authority. The chains of the gate drape naturally, each link perfectly defined, and the background field is clean and unblemished, allowing the design to stand proudly. Like all one-penny coins since 1992, the 2011 issue was struck in copper-plated steel. The Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, produced millions of them for everyday use. Most of these coins would soon find their way into circulation, jingling in pockets, sliding through tills, and accumulating the scratches, dents, and dullness that come with years of handling. A small number, however, were preserved in uncirculated condition, either as part of annual mint sets or as proof coins made specifically for collectors. These coins retained their original luster and sharpness, cherished by numismatists who know the value of perfection. In the coin collecting world, value is driven by three powerful forces: rarity, condition, and demand. A coin that exists in the millions might still be valuable if only a handful survive in pristine state. Add a minting anomaly into the mix, and the result can be staggering. Errors can range from slight misalignments to dramatic mistakes, such as using the wrong metal blank or striking the design twice. While most errors are minor curiosities, a few are so rare and unusual that they become legends in their own right. The $970 million 2011 penny is one such legend. At some point during production, an extraordinary mistake occurred. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated steel planchet, this particular penny was struck on a pure bronze planchet, a metal composition abandoned nearly 2 decades earlier. This was no ordinary error, it was the kind of minting anomaly that should have been caught instantly. Yet somehow, this one escaped detection. Even more astonishing, the strike was of proof-like quality, with gleaming mirror fields and frosted design elements that made every detail pop with breathtaking clarity. For years, this coin's whereabouts were unknown. Some believe it was quietly taken from the mint by someone who recognized its uniqueness. Others speculate it was placed in a presentation set by accident and eventually made its way into a private collection. Whatever the case, it remained hidden from public view until it resurfaced, and when it did, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. Grading experts were called in to examine the coin under intense magnification. They confirmed its unusual composition, flawless strike, and complete absence of circulation wear. Their verdict was unanimous: this was the only known example of its kind in existence. The news spread rapidly, sparking interest from elite collectors, museums, and investors worldwide. The coin was put up for auction at one of the world's most prestigious houses. The atmosphere in the room was electric. Every bidder understood that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, perhaps the only time this coin would ever come to market. The bidding opened high and escalated quickly, with determined collectors raising the stakes in rapid succession. Millions turned into tens of millions, then hundreds of millions, until the final hammer fell at an astonishing $970 million. The crowd erupted in applause, and the coin instantly secured its place among the most valuable numismatic treasures ever sold. Why would anyone pay such a sum for a coin whose face value is just 1 penny? The answer lies in the intersection of history, art, and scarcity. This coin embodies the story of Britain's evolving coinage, the artistry of Matthew Dent and Ian Rank Broadley, and the unpredictable quirks of the minting process. It is a piece of living history, a perfect storm of rarity and condition that cannot be replicated. For the winning bidder, the coin is more than money, it is a tangible symbol of prestige, exclusivity, and connection to a remarkable moment in minting history. The journey of this penny, from a quiet mint in Wales to a record-breaking auction, is a reminder that extraordinary things often hide in plain sight. Most people will handle thousands of pennies in their lifetimes without ever looking closely at one. But for the collector who knows what to look for, that small copper disc might just hold the key to unimaginable value. And so we come to the reveal you've been waiting for. The rarest known United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2011, struck on a bronze planchet instead of copper-plated steel, in flawless proof-like condition, and confirmed as the only specimen in existence, carries a mind-bending value of $970 million. A single penny, worth more than fleets of luxury yachts, entire art collections, and some of the world's most famous landmarks. TP1 His is the tale of the 2014 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny, and of the single extraordinary example valued at $200 million. BY 2014, the design of the British penny was well into its modern era. Since 2008, the coins of the United Kingdom had borne a bold new identity, the brainchild of designer Matthew Dent. Instead of separate, unrelated motifs for each denomination, Dent envisioned a unified design where each coin carried a fragment of the royal shield of arms. When laid out together, the coins formed the complete heraldic shield, a modern, almost puzzle-like presentation of Britain's centuries-old emblem of monarchy and governance. On the penny, the crowned portcullis appeared, a heavy iron gate, long associated with Parliament, framed in crisp, clean lines. It was a nod to tradition, to the architecture of power, and to the enduring relationship between the monarchy and the state. The obverse, as ever, carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. In 2014, the UK was still using the Ian Rank Broadley effigy introduced in 1998. This was no idealized depiction. Rank Broadley's work captured the Queen as she appeared in her later reign, dignified, confident, with features rendered in a strikingly realistic style. She wore the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a sparkling crown of intricate diamonds, its history stretching back over a century. Beneath the neckline, the tiny initials IRB marked the engraver's contribution, a subtle reminder that even in mass-produced coinage, artistry matters. Technically, the 2014 penny was struck in copper-plated steel, just as it had been since 1992. The steel core gave the coin a distinctive magnetic property, while the thin copper coating preserved its traditional reddish tone. Millions upon millions were struck at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, destined for circulation in pockets, purses, and tills across the United Kingdom. Most of these coins would spend years enduring the everyday scuffs, scratches, and dings of use, their luster gradually fading. A small fraction were minted to proof or brilliant uncirculated quality for collectors, perfectly struck, carefully handled, and sealed in protective packaging. For most collectors, the 2014 penny was a common coin, interesting for its place in the Shield series, but not remarkable in rarity or value. But among this sea of ordinary strikes, one coin emerged that defied every expectation. It began, as many great numismatic stories do, with an accident at the mint. In this case, an error so extraordinary occurred that it would elevate the coin from humble change to priceless treasure. Somehow, during the minting process, a blank planchet intended for a different coin, a precious metal-proof blank, was fed into the penny press. Instead of copper-plated steel, the blank was composed of solid 22-karat gold. The dies struck it cleanly, impressing the crowned portcullis and the Queen's profile in stunning proof-like detail. The contrast between the deeply mirrored fields and the frosted relief was flawless, the kind of perfection that only the Royal Mint's highest standards could produce. Yet this coin was never meant to exist. No official record of its striking appears in the Mint's logs. It is believed that the blank was part of an experimental batch intended for a commemorative medallion, accidentally diverted to the penny presses. For reasons unknown, it passed through quality control without detection and was quietly placed into a proof set. From there, It disappeared into the possession of a private collector who either did not recognize its true composition or chose to keep its existence a closely guarded secret. Years later, it resurfaced, not in the grand halls of an auction house at first, but in a small regional coin show. A seasoned collector, inspecting the penny under bright light, noticed that it felt heavier, warmer in color, and far more lustrous than a standard copper-plated steel strike. When tested, its density and color matched gold. Further metallurgical analysis confirmed the shocking truth: this was the only known 2014 penny struck in solid gold, its details preserved in immaculate proof condition. The coin was immediately sent to one of the world's foremost grading services. Experts examined it under magnification, noting the precision of the strike, the absence of wear, and the flawless preservation of the fields and devices. Its uniqueness was beyond question. Word of its discovery spread like wildfire in the numismatic community, sparking interest from collectors across the globe, from seasoned British coin enthusiasts to billionaire investors who saw it as both an historic artifact and an unparalleled rarity. When the coin finally went to auction, anticipation was at a fever pitch. The bidding began aggressively, each increment climbing higher as determined participants vied for ownership. What began in the hundreds of thousands surged into the millions, then tens of millions, as collectors and investors recognized that this was not just a coin, it was a once-in-history phenomenon. When the hammer fell, the final price stunned even the most optimistic observers: $200 million. Why such a price for a single penny? The answer lies in the perfect convergence of factors that make numismatic treasures truly priceless: an iconic monarch's portrait, a beloved national design, flawless condition, a composition never intended for circulation, and absolute uniqueness. This coin was more than a minting error, it was a masterpiece born of chance, a work of art and history combined into a single, tiny disc of gold. For the winning bidder, the 2014 gold penny represented not just a rare acquisition, but a story to be told and retold, of the day an object so small, so unassuming, commanded the kind of value normally reserved for masterpieces of painting, crown jewels, or historic real estate. For the rest of us, it serves as a reminder that treasures can emerge from the most unexpected places. That even in the smallest, most familiar objects, there can be a depth of history, artistry, and rarity that transcends their face value entirely.